Hello, Flirty. Signing on here at Flirt Headquarters to introduce you to a brand new episode of Flirtations, the conversation I have for you today with Fernie back on the show. It's the dating horoscope episode for the coming season. What do the stars, planets, and cosmos have in store for our love lives, our dates, our flirts, our relationships, and our connections? A fantastic conversation coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Before we get into the full thing, though, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your support, your downloads, your listens, your streams, your likes, your comments, your reviews, your shares, all the things. None of this would be possible without you, and I truly appreciate you being a part of this show we call Flirtations, taking in these episodes, listening to them, maybe watching them on YouTube. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. If you haven't, now is a fantastic time to leave a little old 5-star rating, a comment, a thumbs up, something, anything. I really do appreciate it. And then share this episode or another favorite episode of the show with someone you want to share some BFE, Big Flirt energy with. Check. The intro to the intro complete. Now let's get into the full conversation with Fernie. Coming up on this episode of Flirtations, Fernie is back on the show as we celebrate the change of seasons with something a little magical. It's the Autumnal Equinox dating horoscope episode. Fernie, an astrologer, mystic, and guide to all things cosmic and flirty, is here to help us navigate this shift, and together we'll explore what dating and flirting vibes you can anticipate this fall. The equinox is all about balance, and it's the perfect time to think about how we can bring that same harmony into our dating lives. We'll talk about letting go of old patterns, why overthinking is sabotaging the vibe, and even get a little flirty mantra to carry us through this season. The Knight of Swords also makes a visit. We'll hear what Virgo and Libra have to say about things, why October 13th needs to be on your calendar, and finally, Venus and Mars enter the chat. So how can we play and flirt with all of these energies this coming season? Stay tuned and maybe grab a pumpkin spice latte and let's see what the cosmos have in store for love this season. Let's get into it, flirties, and meet Fernie.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Flirties, back on the show for our dating and flirting horoscope for the coming season. It's Fernie. You know him as the magic mystic of the internet, your favorite fortune teller and astrologer, here today to have a conversation with us about what the stars and planets have in store for our dates, our flirts, and our relationships. Fernie, hello and welcome back to the show.
Hola, mi amor. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. These are just the most gorgeous times. I love flirting. I love love. And just being with you and being able to share this with all of the flirties makes my heart so happy. I spent some time in the morning in my garden preparing and getting all of the floral energy to pass that loveliness back to the flirties and back to you.
I'm so glad you're back. Fernie comes on the show every solstice and equinox to give us our dating horoscope. This is, I've lost count at this point. Your 6th time, I think.
Who
on
knows?
The show?
It's been a gorgeous time all the time. So let's just say that.
Yeah, and we checked in before hitting record. You're spending some time in the garden on this beautiful day, tending to some herbs, some lemon verbena. Yeah. What else was in there?
So we got rosemary, because rosemary is great for protection. It's also like a really beautifying herb. Like if your hair needs some like shine, make yourself a little rosemary shampoo. It works gorgeously. We obviously have roses because duh. We have bougainvillea. We have how do you say it in English? How my guff? Hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
I'm like, what are these words? We have orange. We have all sorts of little witchy herbs to make the garden just gorgeous.
Love it. I love it. And for all the flirties listening, rather than watching on YouTube, which you can watch these conversations now, if you could please describe this. This might be, I mean, I say this every time, but this one might be my most favorite caftan you've ever worn.
I wore her specifically for you today because we're going to be talking about Libra season. And I was like, I need to be busting out the pink and gold carpet for you. So we have a pink and gold little floral damask number. She's satin. She's embossed. We have our little cherry blossom necklace. We are just giving fabulous. The floral fantasy.
Oh my gosh. And I am feeling it completely. I know the flirties are getting it through their speakers, through their earbuds, however they're taking in this conversation. We're going to get to know you a little bit more in a moment. I know you. Some of the flirties do as well. But for the flirties tuning in to our first conversation together, what is one of your favorite things about flirting, Fernie?
I just love desire. I think you and I have spoken a lot about desire and like how pleasure is like a right and like how we should be just desiring things. Mm-hmm. And I think when I think about flirting, I think about like the inception of desire and how like desire just like motivates us and pushes us. And I think flirting allows us to really get our desires out into the universe, right? Yeah. And I think one of the things that you do really well is that you talk about like how the flirt doesn't necessarily have to lead to anything, right? Like sometimes it is literally just the flirt. And so I think like that really speaks to like why I love you so much, because I do think that like flirting is a lot about like that creative spark, that little bit of desire that allows us to go out into the world. Like I dress like this because I want to flirt with all the world. Yeah. And I just think that like that pleasure, that desire is really what makes me just love flirting so much.
Desire and pleasure is a right.
Yes, pleasure is a right.
That was one of the biggest themes on one of our first conversations. I feel like it was either the spring or autumnal episode of last year for 2024. Yeah, really exploring pleasure, desire, the theme of connection, yes. But underneath that is really just about allowing yourself to experience feeling good, right? Detaching from those expectations that the flirt even has to lead to a phone number, a date, this kind of long-term, lifelong connection. The reality is most of the connections we're going to make may be in the moment. They may last for a reason, a season, maybe a lifetime, but why not just cultivate more connection regardless?
And I 100% agree with that. And I think especially like as a queer person, like this idea of being able to give in to desire and being able to give in to like that ephemeral nature of pleasure. Yeah. Flirting allows you to like express like your queerness. It allows you to express your like who you are on the inside in such like a bright, vibrant way. Yeah. And so it's just magical. Flirting is everything.
Yes. Because too often, this has been my experience, is we limit that. We're almost scared to feel good sometimes.
100%. And like, I think fear is one of those things that we often talk about like having to overcome. But I think flirting allows you to be scared and do it anyway, right? Because if you see something that you want, you can flirt with like the idea, right? And even if you're scared, like flirting is, you're not doing anything. You're just like talking. You're just thinking. You're just writing things down.
Yes.
Yes. And it can be something
we're
really
smiling.
cute.
We're sharing some energy. We're asking some questions. We're being curious, giving some compliments. Yes.
Nothing
maybe even
expressing
attraction. If you're flirting with someone you think is hot, you can do that too.
Yes. Oh my God, you're so handsome. Look at these big old biceps.
Oh my gosh. Have you been noticing? I've been going to the gym. Thank you, Fernie.
Yes.
All right. We got to get to know you a little bit more. How did you get started in this work of astrology?
So this is a long story.
Yeah.
I turned 40 this year. And so we have 40 years to like talk about. I think like the thing that I love to share is that when I was like 5 or 6, I remember sitting on my grandma's driveway. I grew up in a very, very small town in South Texas, right on the border of Mexico, like literally almost at the point of where Texas becomes the Gulf of Mexico. And 14,000 people, little ranch. Like I'm sitting on the driveway. There's like the mosquitoes buzzing around. And so we have a citronella candle in the middle of like where we're all sitting. And I'm staring into it. And my mom looks at me and she's like, no, Fernito, like, look away. Like, you're going to get lost. And I'm like, lost where? Like, what's going to happen? And my grandma's like, no, déjalo. Like, let him. And so I continue staring into that citronella candle. And I do get lost a little bit. Like, I enter like this meditative state. And when I come back, like, things look different. I can't describe how. It's just like this... like this magical realism like became real. And one of my tias, one of my aunts was there, and she's like, hey, I had this dream like this other night. What does it mean? And so I tell her, and she's like, yeah, that's exactly it. And then it comes true. And so from then on, they just started like talking to me about like their dreams. My mom and my grandma would tell me about like different herbs, like why manzanilla chamomile tea is like good for like this or that. Like why you would use verbena for this. Why would you use like all of these other things? And it just like was something that I grew up with. And then I was just fascinated by it for forever and ever. In high school, like my friends all knew that I was a witch. I am 40, so I grew up with like Buffy and Charmed. And I was like, I'm either going to be Buffy or I'm going to be Phoebe. One or the other.
We would have been friends in high school, Fernie. Yes, we
would have been best
Yes, we would
friends.
have, as I'm not far behind you upon debut of this episode, less than a month until I turn 40.
Well, look at you. We would have been best friends.
We would have. I would have been
read your
watching
palm.
Xena and Hercules in the other room. That would have been me.
God. I won't do it on this. If any of you ever want to hear me do the Xena battle cry.
Oh my. Like oh no, terrible impression. It's one of my vocal stems, Fernie, lives rent-free in my mind. If I ever zone out, there's a good chance that's what's happening up there.
Or like the Sailor Moon theme song. Also, that's like
oh my God.
Like that's where I'm going, like Sailor Moon.
You know, we grew up, I tell you what, in a fantastic time. I got to say, the media,
really
the culture, we had some true gems.
I mean, I know that everybody thinks that like when they grew up is like right? But no, like the 90s really did have like the very, like we had Clueless, Buffy, we had the best fashion, we had like everything. And then look at us, like we grew up to be this gorgeous. No one would think, looking at either of us, that we are 40. When you think of 40, you think of like Darren from Bewitched. No. And I'm like, hell no.
Right?
Yes.
Like something's happening. Is it?
I was pickled.
I was pickled. Oh, good. You have all those healthy probiotics, Fernie. Fantastic.
All of them.
Or was it, people say online, it was the Flintstones vitamins.
That's exactly what it was.
What was in those Flintstones vitamins to be,
to be
sure? I don't know.
Look at this. Look at this skin. Touch this skin.
I mean, my finger might catch on fire. It's so good, Fernie. No filters
and then
here.
look at yours. Not a pore to be seen. It is the most gorgeous thing.
You have a lot to look forward to if you're younger than 40. It really starts to get good in some really exciting ways.
Going back to like this idea of being 40 and like, I mean, we can go back to like who I was, but I think we are able to talk about who we are in a much more detached way. I think when I was when I was like 25, when I was 30, like feeling and talking about who you are feels very fraught because like you're living it and you're becoming it, right?
Yeah.
And now that I actually am 40, it's like, oh, like I love myself. I love who I am. Like all of these things that I've been through have been, whatever. And that's who we are. And I think that actually is like probably like the critical part of like my story of becoming an astrologer. At 25, I dated this guy. He was from Monterrey, Mexico. He said that he couldn't work because he was from Mexico, even though he had everything that he could to work here. And so I paid for everything for 5 years. And I was a teacher then, so I wasn't making like $1 billion. But I did live like we were living, like we had $1 billion. And so when we broke up, I was left with $50,000 of debt that I had to pay off like immediately because it was all like these short-term awful little loans. I was not financially responsible. Yeah. And so at the end of like when I would get my paycheck after paying like all of the bills, I was left with $50. And this doesn't count like gas. This doesn't count like food. This doesn't count like anything, right? It's literally $50 like for my life. And I was like, this just isn't like that. There's no way that you can live off of $50. So I tapped into my little psychic powers and I became a telephone psychic.
Yes, you did.
I did. And I worked at that for like 10-ish years, 12-ish years.
Wow.
And while I was doing that, I also started dating my second boyfriend. He and I dated for 3 or 4 years. And I was a telephone psychic during this time, but he was horribly abusive. Physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, financially. Very, very just abusive. And so flirting is a right, pleasure is a right. And so like I have reclaimed this after like that horrendous experience. But when we broke up, I needed something to like heal me, right? And so at the very tail end of our relationship, I had begun Golden Mirror Fortunes as like a fun little Instagram account where I was just like posting like I see these and I cringe. Like they're like the ugliest pictures ever of like some card and like some weird filter. We have grown, flirty.
Yes.
And when we broke up, I was obviously very just like broken. In June of 2019, there was this pride celebration that was going to be happening here in my hometown of McAllen. And so me and my sister, we applied to be a part of the market. We got accepted and we began the business. And I remember I was like, is anybody going to show up? Like, does anybody get tarot card readings? Like what actually happens here? And we had a line like wrapped around like the convention booths. Like it was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is like a doable thing. We loved it. And so we started doing markets. We did that for a few years and then we just continued to grow. And then we now have been in Cosmo, Teen Vogue, Texas Monthly.
Wow.
We've just done so much. And I actually got into astrology specifically because of Texas Monthly. They reached out. They wanted me to write the yearly horoscopes. Leah Princivelli, I love her. She took a chance on me as an astrologer. So that's how we became the astrologer that you see before you now.
This is, I got to be honest. I pretty much always ask you this question because it's so fascinating that we have a different conversation every time.
Yeah.
Right? And I just learned some brand new things. I don't think I knew about that first market.
Really?
The line, around the convention center and the moment of looking into the citronella candle at like 10, 11 years old on the driveway and some of your relationship history. Like I've heard bits and pieces of it, but as a story, that was really fascinating for me to hear. So thank you for sharing more. I want to ask a follow-up question here for any flirty listening that is transitioning out of a relationship that wasn't healthy or was maybe abusive, and how you just started to flirt again, start to reclaim, right, some of that essence, your power, your energy back. What was that experience like?
It was awful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that it was like easy. Like I woke up the day after we broke up and I was like, yes, I'm free. It took a lot of love, and I was very fortunate to have some people around me who just loved me through it. I think you go through the stages of grief, right? And I remember the stage that I stayed at in the longest was anger. I was angry at myself. I was a school principal. Like I was successful. I like was doing all of these things and I let a man like destroy me. I was angry at myself and I was angry at him. Like, how could you do this to someone, And that anger, I think like really, it lingered and it made everything that I did and everything that I was saying and thinking, it just soured it. But I think it was through the power of love, like the power of the people loving me through this, that like I was able to overcome it. And I think like it took probably like a good year or two of just intense like healing and work to get myself through it. But I think like the thing that that is the most powerful thing is that, like, when I was done with it, I was like, oh my God, like, I am the phoenix. I am Ishtar rising from, like, her grave. Like, you know, like, we are who we are now. And that's just, you know, like, I don't wish that on anyone. I don't think that anybody should ever have to go through that to, like, to grow. And I don't think that, like, anything that you do has to be, like, a lesson. But I do... No, I'm not grateful that I went through that, but I am, like, glad that, like, after going through that, I was able to become this gorgeous creature that you see before you.
Absolutely. We are who we are, right? We're in this moment now together. And so for anyone listening that is maybe going through a similar experience, let us share some love with you. Here you go. Take it all. It's here for you.
We love
take that good flirt energy. Yes.
Yes. And I just want to, like, name, like, if you are in a relationship like that, if you are finding yourself in a situation like that, reach out to Ben, reach out to me. We have lots of resources to help you. We don't want for you to be stuck in anything that, like, is like that. We want to help you because flirting is about, like, feeling good for yourself too. And you deserve to feel good.
Absolutely. And there are a few episodes of Flirtations that I think will be really helpful. Coming to mind around like 48, 49, another one around 97 about this kind of healing from those abusive relationships, which are really hard to let go of in many ways. And also that anger phase, like it's an emotion so many of us bypass, especially people pleaser types. This has been me just in a lot of my own healing with mental health and past relationships, like feeling that guilt, that shame, but that anger, right? How could someone treat me in a way that I would never do that to them? And then how could I have allowed myself to stay? I know.
It's such an awful, like, feeling to be angry at yourself like that, right? And it's normal and it's valid. But also, like, I think it is one of the great teachers about, like, flirting in that, like, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to happen again. This is who I am, and I trust myself and I love myself enough to not, like, let myself get this angry again, because I'm not going to let somebody make me this angry again.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something. We're going to get to all the stuff, Flirties, I promise. The tarot card pull, the astrology is coming, but this is good. I want to, because you mentioned this, like, not everything has to be a learning lesson, or that we have to somehow, I made this mistake, I made that choice, so now, like, what can I do different or better in the future? Like, I think we can really get caught in always finding the meaning in things. What's the learning lesson versus just accepting what happened. Doesn't mean we are okay with what happened, but we can't change the past. And so how can we be here in the moment and then move forward? And I recently listened to an interview. Do you listen to the Good Hang podcast with Amy Poehler?
I don't, but I did listen to the conversation that she had with Aubrey Plaza about grief.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that one was so good. The one I'm thinking of was with Judge Judy.
Okay.
That just came out fairly recently. And it was so interesting where, you know, Amy was asking Judge Judy a lot of these questions about, like, what have you learned right at this stage of your life? Kind of like, how was being in the public eye? And a lot of those kind of life kind of questions. And what Judge Judy said was, like, she's not a thinker. She's just a decision maker. She doesn't ruminate. She doesn't really think about the past. She just accepts what is and then moves on. And I was like, what? You mean you could do that? This is crazy to me. Like, here, I always, right, because I grew up, as probably you did, at least watching Judge Judy on reruns or something, right? She was always on TV, one of the most successful TV personalities of all time, when those judge shows, those daytime courtroom shows were, I mean, gosh, how many of them were there? And yet Judge Judy was like the OG.
Yeah.
And hear her talking about herself, and that she doesn't describe herself as a thinker, as an intellectual. She just is very practical. And I'm like, actually, I see how that served you very well in your career. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating interview. But I just wanted to, I was thinking about what you said, because I think we often get caught up in always searching for their learning lesson. Yeah.
I think like the thing about that for me, and I think like the thing that, like, I especially any of you who are experiencing abuse, but anybody that's just going through any tough time, like, I think, like, sometimes there's like this toxic positivity or this like spiritual bypassing that happens. That's like, you're going through this, but there's a lesson to be learned. And it's like, no, like, I don't like, no, like, this is awful.
I'm good.
Like, you don't need to like go through these things to learn these lessons. And it's not like a spiritual test or like a fortitude thing that like you are abused. Like, no, like abuse is awful. And there doesn't have to be a lesson that you're learning about by being abused. You can take what you went through and you can like grow from it and you can like learn about yourself more. But it like the abuse wasn't good and you learned a lesson, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I think like that is just something that like I mean, you know me and my soapbox about fate and like all of these things. Oh, and like I just think like that's like another thing, you know?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, Fernie. Now let's flirt with the stars.
Yay!
And how about our tarot card pull? What have you got? This is completely random. As behind Fernie, you have an array of tarot cards, but who knows what is going to happen? I don't even know.
Let's see what the card is.
All right.
All right, flirties. Close your eyes and take a deep breath.
Yes, I love this part. Yes. Okay.
Fill yourself with your own energy. Fill yourself with your hopes and your dreams and your fears and your worries. Fill yourself with all of the things that make you you. And I want for you to gently open your eyes again. And let's hear this message. Let's see what the card is for this season.
All right. Drum roll. But instead of the drum roll, it's just the Xena Warrior Princess scream.
Let me get my chakra.
Okay. Let's go.
Speaking of Warrior Princess, we have the Knight.
Oh my gosh. How is that so apropos? All right.
It really is. And the Knight of Swords is about charging after what it is that like you think, you know, you believe to be like the right thing to do. The Knight of Swords isn't somebody that hesitates, isn't somebody that overthinks, isn't somebody that has any doubt, sometimes to their detriment. But they're like, no, like this is the thing that I need to be doing. This is the path that I am going to be walking. This is where I'm going to be going. And they charge after it. And thinking about like from the equinox all the way up until Samhain, until Halloween, like thinking about these 6 weeks, there is a lot of astrology that is just centered around release and centered around like revolutionary like thinking and centered around like just like finding the heat. And I think the Knight of Swords is encouraging you to really think, what does my brain say that I need to be doing and how do I go after it? How do I allow myself to be filled with this like gorgeous energy that is going to say like, whether this is right or not, I'm going to do it and I'm going to figure it out at the end. And I think like that can just be a really powerful thing.
I love this energy for the coming season, the Knight of Swords.
It is gorgeous. It's also tied to air. And as you know, we are beginning your favorite season.
Oh my gosh, Libra season. The flirtiest season of them all. They're all flirty. Well, but the Libra.
Libra is like, I mean, like if I were to assign like the flirtiest sign, I'm a Gemini. I think Gemini can give you a little like competition. But Libras really are like the flirtiest of signs.
I wonder, why is that?
So I can tell you.
Why is that, Fernie?
Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of like flirting, of love, of beauty. Libra really wants harmony, and I think like one of the things that flirting really does for us is it allows us to be in harmony with someone else. It allows for us to find that harmony that someone else is looking for, and we're able to give it to them. We're able to shine that light onto them. We're able to help them see who they are and see how beautiful they are. And Libras do that just naturally. Like that's what a Libra wants. A Libra wants for you to feel that. And as the sign of the balance, as the sign of like something that is creating this balance, flirting is about like that dance of balance, right? Like how do I make you feel good while feeling good myself? How do I allow for us to be in and out of this gorgeousness that I think is just really beautiful? And so it's just, the flirtiest of signs because it appreciates beauty, it appreciates harmony, and it's ruled by Venus.
Yeah, you definitely describe me. I do want people to feel good.
Yes,
Try and
you
reflect
do.
back their own energy, their own light, even if they're not really feeling particularly energetic or light that day. Let's see if I can make them feel better.
And you do. That's exactly what you do. Whether it's yoga or flirting, you make people feel great about themselves.
I mean, yoga or flirting, what's the difference at this point for me? I don't know.
There isn't any with me.
No. But I tend to feel better about myself in the process too. Like this is how I get a lot of my energy besides coffee and sugar is I'll go out and have conversations, right? I'm definitely the person, that kind of extrovert introvert, where it can sometimes be hard to leave my apartment, to get up off my chair, to get out of my like super comfy clothes, but just getting out there, right?
100%.
Some energy because I get that in return. Yeah. All right, let's do just a quick little recap to ground us here. So we're going to be talking about some signs, perhaps the big three. If you're unsure what that is, after this, go all the way back to episode 2 of Flirtations with Fernie, where we share how to identify your big three, how you can take a very kind of short assessment for free, figure all of that out, at least get some basics there. So what are our big three? Our sun, our rising, our moon. Yeah.
I just got so excited. I didn't realize. I guess I had forgotten that I was like episode 2.
Yes.
And now look at us. Oh my God.
And fun fact, episode 2, but you were the first ever episode I recorded.
Really?
Yes, the first ever one, and I'll never forget, you were on my calendar, and I was so nervous, I canceled on you. I was like, I can't do it. I'm not ready. But we rescheduled. You were the first one, first episode to ever be recorded, and then became the second ever episode. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it so much. That makes my heart so happy. Look at us.
Here we are collaborating. I've
Who
lost count at this point. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, flirties. So if you're wondering about your big three, so the big three are your sun, your moon, and your rising. Your sun is the sign that like most people already know. This is the one that's like what you're going to be reading your horoscope on. It's like the one that has like your birth date in it. It's perfectly like aligned with what it is that most of us know. The sun rules like our outward persona, the way that like we project light, the way that we like are shining most brightly. And so this is why most people can identify a lot with like their sun sign. Like I know that Ben, you definitely associate very much beautifully with your Libra sign. Exactly. And as a Gemini, I love to talk, I love to charm. We can associate ourselves with these really fun signs. Next, we have our moon sign. And our moon sign is going to be the thing that really is determining like our emotions and our bodies, like the way that our bodies are feeling, the way that our hearts are feeling. Because the moon changes sign sometimes like 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes it'll be in the same sign for 2 or 3 days, but it's moving quickly. So it's about like the ways that our bodies and our spirits, our like hearts, like, you know, go through various things. For example, my moon is in Pisces. And so like I tend to be very psychic, obviously. I also like just love connecting with people, but my energy can dip in and out. Like I can be very social one minute and then like I can need to go and like retreat into my watery cave the next. Right? And then we have our rising. And your rising is actually the sign that is most you. It's like what determines your entire chart. And so it's like your first house. And the first house is like who you are. And so sometimes people will say like that they don't feel like a Sagittarius or they won't feel like a Scorpio or whatever. And it might be because their first house, their rising sign is just something like very antithetical to that energy. And so they're like finding that like balance. They're finding that like movement between those two in a way that just isn't, you know, always easy for them. So my rising is Capricorn, and you know that I'm a business-minded bitch, and so like this is where that Capricorn comes in. I'm disciplined, I can be focused, I know what it is that I want and that ambition. But that's very difficult for like a Piscean moon who just wants to float and be connective. And then my Gemini sun is like, let me like flirt around everywhere. Let me like just flit like a hummingbird. And so like it can be sometimes tough. And then I think like that's how those three can really play into it. If you're looking to find out what your big three are, I encourage you to go to Chani Nicholas's website. She's my favorite little website for finding your chart. And it's free and it's easy. And you can reach out to Lisa Stardust. She does chart readings all the time, or you can reach out to me as well.
Yes.
And any of us would love to be able to read for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fernie. Yeah, and I'll have that link in the show notes below for the episode. And of course, your links as well for any of the flirties that are curious. My big three, sun, no surprise, is Libra. Moon is Scorpio, and rising is Taurus.
Very sensual, very sexy, very body-minded.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense. Like 100% sense. Like I can see all of that in you. So gorgeous.
It is all in me. What's that? What's that song by Whitney Houston? It's all. Oh my God.
Every woman.
Oh my gosh. As we go from Xena to Whitney, I mean, just a millennial fever dream over here today, and very homosexual as well. Yes. All right. Now into the depths of our astrological horoscope. Coming back to the King of Swords, there are two themes. Are really, I think, three themes I'm picking up on. Desire, which we mentioned in the beginning, but then also these themes of overthinking, balance with decision-making, and yet balance, right? Finding the balance in our lives. I think we oftentimes, this has been true for me, we live in those extremes, right? Oh, I'm not going to feel any pleasure. I don't deserve any desire, so I'm just going to feel nothing. Or I'm just going to like focus on just work, or just kind of stay in my house or stay in my apartment, or just focus on the healing, right? Maybe I'm falling into that toxic positivity, like always needing to find the lesson, something like that. This kernel of truth. And so how can we play with these energies this coming season?
Yep. I think I'm going to start with like where I think like we're starting right now, right?
Okay.
And what is happening right now in the stars when this episode is going to be coming out, like in September, mid to late September. Venus has just moved into Virgo. Okay. And so Venus rules like love, it rules beauty, it rules flirting, as we've talked about. Virgo is two things. One, it's very service-minded, but two, it's very like organized, and it's very critical, but not like, it can be in a bad way, but it's also just like critical in that like, I want for things to be perfect. And I think like what Venus and Virgo does, speaking of that balance that you're talking about, it allows us to figure out like, how can I show love through service? How can I make routines and rituals that allow me to be filled with love? And how can I also be really critical of like the practices that I have that either push me or don't push me into love? And when I think of the Knight of Swords, when I think of like charging ahead, Virgo doesn't love charging ahead. Virgo wants for things to be perfect. She sweeps the path in front of the Knight of Swords. And I actually think that's what we need to be doing. Like we need to be sweeping the path in front of us so we can make it easy to move forward. So it can be easy for our desires to happen. How much easier is it to love yourself if like you go to bed at a decent hour, you put your phone away, you wake up, and like you go for your morning walk where you're like being in awe of the sunrise, right?
Yeah.
How much easier is it to like find love if you're not like putting yourself through the ringer every day and not following through with like your journaling practice or your sewing practice or whatever practice you have? Like how much easier is love going to find like fertile soil if you let yourself serve yourself and have those routines that are going to make it, flourish? And I think like that's what Virgo is doing with this Knight of Swords. It's like sweeping the path ahead of it and saying, you can go down here. Just give me a couple of seconds to make this super clean and super perfect for you.
This is good for me to hear. Why are you calling me out, Fernie?
I call everyone out. That's why I'm your favorite fortune teller.
I've really fallen off on just a lot of those practices, even if I don't do them every day, right? The things I'm going to do before bed or when I'm waking up, right? Some of the journaling, some of the just not being on my phone until like I'm bleary eyed. I can barely hold my eyes open anymore. Like kind of that setting yourself up for the next day, the next flirt, the next date, whatever, right? Doing a little bit of that preparedness, maybe to remove some of those obstacles that may come.
100%. And I think like that can be really tough to do. I think it can be really hard for people to recognize that love needs something on which to grow. Like love doesn't just happen like that, like as we say, like it doesn't just happen from nothing. Like love needs a soil, love needs care, love needs a garden in which it can be really beautiful, really gorgeous, really powerful. Because if you just like let it just, if you don't take care of your garden, it's not going to flourish. And that's what I think Venus and Virgo is teaching us, that you need to be able to like put that garden in the right place. You need to water it. You need to take care of it. You need to prune it in order for it to grow.
Which is what you were doing before we hit record today.
That's why I think it's in my head.
Tending your literal garden.
I was. And I think all of you should tend to your own literal gardens too.
Yeah. This is reminding me, are you on the curriculum side of TikTok, which is a new trend I'm seeing?
What is the No.
It's so interesting. I think it's been around for perhaps a little bit, but I'm just catching on to it, where there's a bunch of creators that are creating these curriculum videos where at the start of every month, they give themselves a curriculum.
Oh, wow.
Right? What they want to focus on for the coming month. Usually there's a list, there's a stack of books, there's a multitude of interests that they want to explore, maybe new hobbies, passions, something like that. And basically giving themselves a curriculum. And then at the end of the month, they do a check-in, right? How did I do? What was this about? Like, what did I learn about myself, just about the world, about life? Could be anything. And it's not really about anyone else. It's not necessarily externally focused about dating or even about flirting. It's really about you and pouring back into your own cup.
I love this. This is perfect. Yes. Do this. Make your own curriculums. If that is part of your practice, if that feels good to you, make your curriculums. Yes. And like, I think like that is what Venus and Virgo wants us to do. That's how Venus and Virgo wants us to show up. I love this.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Should we get into, are there any events, like big dates coming up this season that we should be paying attention to?
100%. You know that.
What are they? What are they, Fernie? Give us a heads up.
Yep. I think like there are quite a few. I had to make my own little list because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget them. The first big event is September 22nd is when Libra season starts. This year it starts a little bit late. Typically it starts on the 20th or the 21st, but this year it's starting the 22nd. And Libra season, as we talked about, Libra is all about flirting. Libra is all about like finding that harmony, that beauty, all of that goodness. And so spend Libra season flirties just filling yourself with all of the gorgeousness and symmetry and beauty that you can. Yes. The other really cool thing that happens on the 22nd is that Mars moves into Scorpio. I love Mars in Scorpio. Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Not anymore. Now it's Pluto. But in traditional astrology, Mars rules Scorpio. So it's already like feeling very powerful there. But Mars is like and speaking of flirting, Mars is like a planet of like heat, of passion, of sex. And Scorpio is also very sexy. So when Mars like swings its sword into Scorpio, it's like, how do I flirt with everything around me? Like, how do I find this heat? Like, how do I make this very hot moment? And how do I like just exude sexiness? How do I smolder with my eyes? And so I want for us to be spending the next few weeks as Mars is in Scorpio, channeling our very best smoldering stare and just like flirting with everyone and wanting for everybody to be around us and hot and fun. So I love this.
Oh my gosh. You had me at smolder. You had me at flirt. I love all of that. I mean, we could practice a little bit of that right now. You could do the flirt double take, right? So you make that eye contact. You take it away. Oh my God, I'm not looking at you anymore. And then you bring it right back, right? A little head tilt, a little bit of that side eye, chin down, head up kind of thing. Yeah. Some movement, make the expression, pair it with a smile, right? This is one that I love. Like, that's if you're more stationary, but you could do one where you're out and about somewhere and you kind of walk past someone and look at them as you're walking past them. And then as you walk past them in a moment, maybe you're on the way to the bathroom, the bar, whatever, you turn around, look back, and then just keep going on about your merry way, right? Let them think about you for a moment. And then, yeah, maybe you go strike up a conversation, say hello, introduce yourself. I love it.
I love it. That is cute with the flirting tips. I'm going to use all of these.
Who is that? Who is she? Who is he? Who is them?
Why are they looking at me? Why are they? What is that smile? What do they know that I don't know?
And now I'm overthinking, but not with the Knight of Swords. We're making a decision. We're getting out of our heads and into the flirt. With Virgo energy, all of it. Okay, this has been, wow, just glancing down at the clock. These conversations always go so fast, but what else? What else should we know about this coming season? Is there anything else you want to share with the flirties?
Let me share a few dates in October.
Okay.
October 4th, speaking of sweeping, Venus joins the South Node, and the South Node releases Venus is love. Sweep away any of those relationships that are not serving you anymore. Get rid of any of like that past memories that like you can get rid of. Flirties, put this date with a big ol' heart on your calendar. October 8th, Venus sextiles Jupiter. Love expands, your garden grows, the roses bloom. Go out and flirt. I know it's like a Monday or a Tuesday, I think.
That's all right. Yeah.
Go and find the happy hour and give those smoldering glances.
Yes.
October 13th, Venus moves into Libra. So Venus
my
rules Libra.
favorite.
It's gorgeous.
I already know I'm going to love this. Yes.
It is perfection. So Mars is going to be in Scorpio. Venus is going to be in Libra. October 13th, allow yourself to just have so much gorgeousness, so much fun. Go into your May West little ways and flirt your way all the way around. I love it.
Okay.
And then
fantastic. And then not long after that, Fernie, on the 15th, that's my birthday.
Well, and you know what? On the 14th, so the 13th, we have that. The 14th, we have Venus doing some fun things with Pluto and Uranus, and then it's your birthday. Your birthday is going to be explosive. It's going to be super fun. It is going to be like the confetti, glitter, poppers. You are going to have, I don't think you should plan on wearing much clothes on the 15th. I feel like
I could honor that request.
Wear leather shorts.
Yes.
Wear your boots. Wear like a little vest. Make it happen.
I got to add to my list. Get leather shorts. I've always wanted them, to be honest. Now's my opportunity for my 40th. Yeah.
My God, yes.
Why not bring in some leather shorts with Venus? Sounds good to me.
It's going to be, and it's happening right before your birthday. So you're going to be like feeling that energy so gorgeously. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It's beautiful.
I love that I love that for me. I love that for everybody else as well. All right. Before we wrap up, we've been doing this as of late on these episodes. How about a mantra for the coming season? Maybe an affirmation, something along those lines for the flirties.
Yep. I sweep the path ahead of me so that love can grow. Right?
Right. I sweep the path ahead of me so that love can grow. I can get on board with that 100%.
I just think that is perfect Venus and Virgo energy. We need to sweep the path so that love can have a place to flourish.
All right. There you have it, flirties. Your mantra for the coming season. What's coming for our flirts, our dates, our love lives, our relationships, and the relationship we have with ourselves. Maybe the most important one. Fernie, thank you so much for being back on the show today. This was great.
I loved it so much. Flirties, I want to let you know, if you're looking at your own individual little horoscopes for this next season, go to my website, goldenmirrorfortunes.com. We're going to have your Sabbath horoscopes up, and I want for you to know exactly how it's going to impact you and your gorgeousness. I love this.
Amazing. And I'll have your links in the show notes for this episode. Of course, are you accepting new clients, Fernie, if they want to reach out to you?
Please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my website, goldenmirrorfortunes.com, or you can find us on Instagram. However it is that you need to reach out to me, find me, and I will make sure that we get you a reading, because I want for you to be filled with love, my loves.
All right. I will send all the flirties your way. Congratulations just on everything.
Thank you so much.
The growth of your business, entering this 40th season of life. I love it. I can't wait till we chat again.
I can't wait to see you in your 40s. Oh my God, sisters.
All right, flirties, you've got some homework perhaps. Get your big 3. Know what those are. Check out episode 2. And if you want to listen to more conversations just like this with Fernie and myself, so many of those right here on Flirtations, whatever platform you're listening on or watching on. Fernie, thanks for being here.
I loved it. Los quiero mucho, mis amores. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
All right, flirties, that's a wrap on this episode of Flirtations, the Autumnal Equinox dating horoscope episode of the show for the 2025 season with Fernie. Thank you, Fernie, for being back on the show. I got some amazing links in the show notes below for this episode to check out Fernie, to follow him, to learn more about your own big 3. That link below for Channing Nicholas is there for you as well. If you don't already know your big 3, you can soon find out very quickly and for free. Yay! Love that. Thank you, Fernie, for being here. And thank you to you, the flirties, for listening and for tuning in, for streaming wherever you are in the world, being a part of these episodes, these conversations. I really appreciate all your support. It just means so much and gives me all the motivation and flirt fuel I need to keep going. So thank you for being here. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show. Leave me a comment and then share this episode or another favorite episode of the show with someone you want to share some BFE, big flirt energy with, that maybe needs to hear some of the messages from today's conversation. That's going to do it for me, Benjamin, the flirt coach, and Gay Libra here at Flirt Headquarters Flirty. Only one thing left to say and do, and that is wish you very happy flirting.